So, how are you?
I'm fine today. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little nervous. Well, I was nervous. How did you come to work at the library?
So, I am one of those nerdy people that knew in high school what I wanted to do. And when I was in high school, I was working at my local public library. And I discovered I really liked it. So here I am, 30 years later, still working in a public library and still loving it.
So was that just a natural thing that just came to you?
You know, I always liked books. I always liked hanging out in the library when I was a kid. And at one point, one of my sisters said to me, you should become a librarian. And it was just like, bing, and that's what it took. Yeah. So I was lucky. Yeah.
So you went to school strictly
To become a librarian, that's actually a master's program. So you go to a college and you get a 4-year degree in some other area. I got a degree in history, U.S. history. And then I went to UC Berkeley for a year and got my master's in library science.
So is that like so library science, is that like a major?
So it's a master's, it's called an MLIS, Master's in Library and Information Studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have a whole program for it they did at Berkeley, they no longer do.
Okay. When was that?
That was back in the early to mid 80s.
Okay. So what exactly do you do at the library?
So here at the library, over my 30 years, I started out as a children's librarian, and probably my first 15, 16 years I spent mostly as a children's librarian. And as a children's librarian, I buy books for the collection, I schedule programs, I do story times, I do summer reading programs, I do outreach. I also have, in the last 14 years, started working with teens and have become a teen librarian. And that looks pretty much the same as what I was doing with the kids, but working with teenagers. And here, I've done that mostly here at the Petaluma Library. And here at the Petaluma Library, we have a real active teen program. We have lots of teen volunteers, probably over 100 teen volunteers coming through every year. And we also have a teen advisory council. In addition to that, I'm also do adult services, so I buy books for the adult collection, do book discussion groups, that type of thing. And at times, I have also been a branch manager. And I will be, at the end of May, I'm leaving Petaluma, going back up to Santa Rosa, where I'll be a branch manager up in Santa Rosa at one of their libraries.
So I think you mentioned like a library council?
Teen council?
Yeah. How does that work?
So we have at the Petaluma Library a teen advisory council. And probably about 15 years ago, I attended a workshop here in Petaluma with lots of community leaders that was really aimed at getting teens involved in their community. And they asked us all to walk away from that meeting with one goal in mind. And the goal I actually walked away with was to get a teen representative on our Library Advisory Council. And the Library Advisory Council was made up of a group of adults who have input in what they want at the library. And we, at that time, added a teen member. Then we had a teen librarian who took it a step further, and she created a council of only teens who would advise the library on what they wanted in the library. When she retired, I took that over, and in our time, the Teen Advisory Council have put on a couple of programs. They advise about what kind of books they want in the collection. They advise on what kind of programs they want, and we really try to let them give us a voice in what they want to see in their local library.
So what kind of process does the teen have to go to?
They can fill out an application and come in and talk to the teen librarian. And at this point, we don't have an upper limit of how many members we have on the council. Over the years, it's been as small as maybe 3 or 4 real active members, up to about 12. Okay. So if anybody is interested, we would love to have you come down and talk to us. Can I put that commercial in on this?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
And then can you elaborate on the regional manager
position?
So
I'll be going up to what's called the Northwest Library. This is a library in Cottingtown. And when I'm there, I will be what we call a branch manager. And what the branch manager does is kind of make sure that the whole branch is running the way it's supposed to, that we're doing programs, we're having the staffing we need, we're giving the service we need to the public. The branch manager would be the one to handle any complaints. If somebody's not happy with something, they can come in and talk to the branch manager. Of course, if they really love something, they can come in and talk to the branch manager about that too. But it's kind of like being the parent in a family and just making sure everything's running right.
What is your favorite thing, or what is some of your favorite things about the library?
About working here at the library?
Yeah.
I think that my most favorite thing over the years has always been working with the people. And for years, I loved working with the younger children because at a certain age, you're never quite sure what's going to come out of their mouth, and they can be very enthusiastic about things, and that's a lot of good energy. About 12, 13 years ago, when the teen librarian retired, I took on the teen librarian position here in Petaluma. And I wasn't sure if that was really what I wanted to do, but found out that I really did enjoy working with the teens just as much as the younger kids. So I have to add that to my list of favorite things.
And then what are the differences in working with the teens and the kids?
What I like about working with the teens is I really like to get their worldview on things, and I like to have this glimpse into these people who are just getting ready to go out into the world.
May I have your attention, please? The Petaluma Library will be closing in 1/2 hour at 6 p.m. If you need to get a library card or check out library items, please do so now. Library cards cannot be issued after 5:45.
At least it's still going.
All restrooms will be closed in locked tenements before the hours, and the computers will be shut off at 1:45. Thank you.
And that was our closing announcement, and they do like to give a lot of detail. So back to the teens. I like interacting with them and seeing their view of the world and what concerns them and what excites them, and that's just been a good surprise to me. And with the younger kids, again, you don't always know what they're going to say. They can be brutally honest about things, and they can be very funny about things. So I have always enjoyed that.
What are some of your most enjoyable experiences working at the library?
So any experience with the public has been great. One of the things I really enjoyed doing this past year was the public library joined with the 2 high school libraries to present LumaCon, which is Petaluma's first comic convention. And prior to us doing that, I had no idea what went on in the world of comic conventions, and was just really delighted by the whole experience. We had between 1,500 and 2,000 people attend this program. It was great energy. We had lots of volunteers from the Comic-Con World of Artists who came and gave us their time for free just to come and sit with the kids. And it was really a cool thing. So that surprised me quite a bit, and it really was one of my most favorite things I've done this year.
People like dress up as like their...
We did have cosplay, and a lot of people did come in these amazing, elaborate costumes, and there was LARPing, live action role play also, and so it was kind of modeled very closely on the whole comic convention world.
So is there more like a teen turnout, or was there an adult turnout?
It was aimed for the teens, and I would say the majority of people were teens. We did have some adults who loved that world come also. We had some younger kids come, but our main focus really was on the teens in the community, and they were the bulk of the people who came.
And then was it like the whole spectrum of like just comics, or like anime, or just like regular comic books? Or
we tried to cover everything, and we had some fandom walls where kids could draw a picture of their favorite fandom, or so there were people who love the anime and people who love the DC comics versus the Marvel. Yeah. And so we tried to give everybody space to be able to show their love for whoever they loved.
So what kinds of challenges do you face working at the library?
So the big challenge we have here at the Petaluma Library probably would be the homeless situation. We do have a fairly large population of people who use the library on a regular basis. A lot of the homeless people come in regularly and are excellent library users, but occasionally we will have somebody come in who's homeless who might have a drug issue or an alcohol issue or a mental health issue, and that can be pretty disruptive in the library.
So do you have any programs that accommodate the homeless?
We don't have anything here per se. We work closely with COTS so that we can continue to provide space for the people. At COTS, you have to vacate their premises during the day in some of the programs. So this is a place for these people to come, and they can hang out here all day. So that's been, we offer programs, and anybody in the public would be welcome to come to any of those programs, but we don't have any programs at this time aimed at the homeless. That's an interesting point. We should think about it.
So the programs are all free, and they're all for anyone to come?
Any program we offer is free, open to the public. We do have them aimed at various age groups. Yeah. So we have a baby time program for 0 to 18 months and caregivers. And generally, if you don't have a baby, it might be fun to watch, but it may not be what you would want. I don't know. So
what are the demographics on the type, not types of people, but people that regularly go to the library?
I would say in any day we see people from every single age group. And I know that a lot of people think that libraries may not be as popular anymore, and who goes to a library anymore. But in a day after school, we see a lot of school-age kids in here. Some are meeting their tutors, some are doing homework, some are reading books. We have the younger children attend our story times. We have school groups visiting. We have retired people coming in here. We have some business people coming in here. For teens, the teen area in the library is as far away from any of the desks as it can possibly be, so we don't often have a view of what's going on there. But if we look at the collection and try to find out what's not circulating in that collection, everything in that collection circulates. So teens are coming in too. Yeah. And then we have the ebooks. So a lot of people use ebooks and they never even have to come into the library for that. They can just do it from home.
So as far as inventory goes, as book inventory, do you ever trade not only with some of the other libraries in the region, but do you trade with some of the high school libraries too?
We haven't done anything like that. What we'll do is if we can't use a book here, we offer it to some of the other libraries in the library system. And then sometimes we will end up giving some of those books to the Friends of the Library to sell at their book sales. So we haven't done anything with the high school libraries yet.
So what do you enjoy doing outside of the library?
So outside of the library, I like to go hiking. I like to work in my garden. And I am a librarian, so of course the number one thing I like to do in my free time is read books. So I do spend a lot of time reading books.
Do you watch any TV or anything?
Occasionally I'll watch TV. There's not any current TV shows I'm watching, but sometimes I do have to admit, after a day of working with books and all day long, it's I don't want to see another book today. But that doesn't happen very often. So
is there a special place that you like to read in your free time?
I can find any place.
Just anywhere?
I carry a book with me, so if I'm waiting at a dentist's office, waiting in the post office, I'll read then too. So.
And then do you prefer hard, physical books, or do you mind reading on a tablet or something?
I cannot get used to reading an ebook. I like the physical book, and I like seeing how much I read and how much I still have to read. I've tried it a couple times, and I'll keep trying it because it is very convenient, but I just can't quite get used to the ebook yet.
And then where were you born, and where did you go to school?
I was born in Marin County, grew up in San Rafael, went to high school at San Rafael High, and then went to College of Marin for a couple years, and then went to Berkeley, where I got my undergrad history degree and then my master's in library science.
So like all the people that work in the library, do they have certain specializations?
The people who work at the circulation desk, the front desk, they do not usually have a library degree. They will have gone to college. Many of them have college degrees, but they may not have gone on to get their masters. The people who work the reference desks, either the desk in the children's area or the desk in the middle of the library in Petaluma, we all tend to have our specialty. We may have been trained in different areas. One's in the children's area. Obviously, we've had more children's training. And then we also really rely on one another for various expertise. Like we have one shelver here who loves to read military history. So if somebody comes in and wants something about military history, I'll go see if I can find this shelver to help me out with that. So even if they don't have a formal degree in something, it helps to know what their interests are because we can use that quite often at work.
Well, that concludes the interview.
Okay, well, thank you, Peter, for being a great volunteer. It was nice to have you both your freshman year and your senior year. And good luck in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for doing the interview.
Okay.
I think it worked, yeah.